So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the, hi there, Liz. Welcome to the Open Space Committee. I just love saying that. The Open Space Committee meeting of October 2nd, 2023. We're going to start with a notice of recording, which is required. This meeting of the Open Space Committee is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 20. I must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to make their presence known. Seeing none, let's begin with a call to order and introduction of members. We'll start with me. I'm the chair, Ann Kennedy, and let's go this way.
Tracy Pratt, Katuitt.
Doug Payson, Barnstable Village.
Go ahead, Lev, you can introduce yourself even though you're...
Lev Malakoff, interested prospective board member.
Yep.
Just remind everybody to speak into the microphone. Please.
Yes, and also speak up for the deaf person on this end of the table.
I go again.
Go ahead.
Lev Malakoff, from Centerville and future board member.
Okay, thank you.
Liz Lewis, West Barnstable.
Kate Gulliver, Hyannis.
Orly Lewis, Hyannisport. Jenna Zeno, Administrative Assistant.
Thank you very much. Yes, Lev has had a first reading at the town council. A second reading will be on Thursday, and then he has to be sworn in by the town clerk. And as soon as he's done that, he's an official member of the committee. So welcome. I'm glad to have you. Let's start with the approval of the minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes?
Yes.
Are there any changes, revisions? Okay, may I have a motion?
Move to accept the minutes.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So I do want one more administrative thing, and that is the approval of the calendar for 2024 that Jenna has produced. I take it the stars mean that's the meeting, and these things are, the circles with the thing through it is a holiday?
Yep, town
Okay.
holidays.
Okay, so can I have does everybody like this calendar? Is everybody happy with it? How about you, Farley, with the walks? Does it coincide with what you need? Oh, absolutely. Okay. All right, so could I have a motion to approve the calendar as written?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very much. So welcome to our town councilor, liaison, Chris Clark. Okay, so for new business, today we had a site visit to the Santuit Pond Preserve that was organized by Grace Rogers and David Anthony and other members of the committee. So we appreciate the fact that after a couple of years now, we have starting to get this committee back on track. So Tracy was there.
If you don't mind, you should define the Santuit Management Committee.
What did I say?
The committee, not this committee.
Oh,
Is the
okay, Santuit Pond Preserve Committee, yes, thank you. Tracy Pratt was there, and David Payson was there, and Lev Malakoff was there, and Chris Clark was there. Does anybody else go?
I'm Doug Payson. My brother is David.
All right, so I'm on a roll, obviously. I'm doing really well.
Did you say Dan Kent from Mashpee was there? I didn't.
Yeah, several other people from other parts of the world were there, too. But from this committee, that was it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Tracy, can you do a little report?
Yes.
Into the microphone, thank you.
I think the four members of the committee were there. David Anthony was there. Tyler King from Structures and Grounds was there. Steve Hurley from Mass Wildlife was there. And I think that might be it. Did I miss anything?
Dan
Edwin
from
Hobbs. Hobbs.
Oh, from conservation.
Edwin from Conservation? No? Yes?
From Barnstable Conservation. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
Mashpee
that's
Conservation,
who it
there was
was.
Dan.
Ed Hoops was there?
No,
Yeah.
no.
David,
Edwin was not there.
David,
So-
David Green was the Mashpee.
David Green?
Dan Kent, who was the assistant
Sorry.
conservation agent.
Dan Kent, that's right.
From the town.
Who used to work for the trustees, right?
Yes.
All right, so anybody else, Chris?
Oh,
way
it was
we ran
David
into-
Anthony.
David Anthony and Grace Rogers.
Yes.
Yes.
But on the way, we ran into one of the Wampanoag tribal members from their natural resource department, as well as a fellow who works for Hui,
MIT, Sea Grant.
MIT.
Okay, was that part of the organized group or just somebody that,
We ran into them.
Ran into-
And they were
okay. They were
tending to the fish ladder.
deconstructing the herring monitoring station as we came down.
oh, okay, I know as part of the plan is to redo the fish ladder, either, well, they're going to do two structures. One is going to be for water flow, and the other one is for the fish ladder, side by side. So they're either going to, well, whatever's there now is going to be used for one of the other purposes. So they have to fix that and add something else. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were
So-
told that NRCS admits that it was a flawed plan, and they're paying for the reconstruction.
Yeah, and you'll have to talk into the microphone and loud, so I can
Sure.
hear. So, yeah, so the NCIS is the one that's paying for this, not the town and not
NRCS.
NRCS, right? Natural Resources Conservation,
Service.
S. Okay,
Service.
all right, so Tracy, what was your impression?
We met over at the Mashpee Trailhead on 130, and walked on down to the fish ladder, basically, and then kind of chatting as we went and talking about various things that we encountered on the way. I think David wanted to start at the fish ladder. That's what his intention was. And then we kind of walked the whole circuit for the most part, with the exception of that small loop on the west side of the Hollow Road, and all the woods between the Hollow Road and there are a couple of secondary trails that run back from the Hollow Road to the south that we didn't get on, but we looked at the work that had been done by Structures and Grounds, the bridge that had been built over on the Newtown Road. We looked at that part of the pond that had been reconstructed by the town of Mashpee when it started to fail and the water started to run out of the pond. And we looked at several of the herring gates that have an effect on water in various bogs and the water transitioning from Santuit Pond to Lovell's Pond. So there are a number of things that we looked at that need to be managed on a fairly active basis, it appeared. And there was one trail that had washed out very, very badly in the storms as of late, and we looked at it. Tyler King looked at it. We looked at it. That's all I can say right now. And
No solution.
well, I guess the thing that struck me was that David Anthony hit on it when he said that if we wait for a grant or something to that effect to make any kind of improvement,
Yep,
the momentum just kind of passes.
right,
We get the money 2 years later, and then we have to file paperwork for the next 3 years.
Right.
And his suggestion was that there be money taken from the budget surplus at the end of the year and actually perhaps put in the kitty to make these improvements. And then somebody, be it Tyler and Structures and Grounds, could plan a mode of attack to get some of these things done. And in the past, it's just been people kind of going out there with a chainsaw or
Yep.
with some signage and doing it on their own,
Yep.
and just getting it done, because it's easier that way. You don't have to go through conservation to do it. Other than that, it was nice to meet everybody, and I thought the Mashpee Conservation guy, Dan Kent, was excellent, and very involved in
Yeah.
the property, and had some nice suggestions about things to do. He was actually talking about reintroducing a cedar swamp over on the Mashpee side at some point in time, which would be a very nice long-range project.
Yeah.
If he could get it going.
Yeah, they've done bog restoration, and the Mashpee side has been very proactive
Yeah, they have it much more than we have.
rather than reactive. And Drew McManus, under his leadership, it's been fantastic. And so I think this gentleman coming in is going to pick up the reins and
Yeah.
do a good job too. So that's good to know. And I think it was very valuable that you all got to meet each other.
That's the first, I mean, I've been on here for 2 or 3 years, and I'd never even met these people over there.
Yeah. So,
It was nice.
and they've been involved in one way or the other. So the other thing I like about what's going on is that the idea of using the surplus that we have now, is to tap into that as needed,
Yep.
and then start looking for grants, because, you know, there are a million out there, and it should be tapped. We don't do a very good job sometimes as a town in utilizing our ability to garner some of these grants. And then the fact that I think David has suggested strongly that there be a line item going forward, either in conservation or structures and ground, and probably structures and grounds is where it should be.
I would think so, but I just, again, I didn't get any kind of positive energy from them, I'm afraid, unlike, you know, the former guy, Chris.
Yeah, well, it's not the same,
We
same
have to kind of light a fire
passion.
there a little bit. Somebody does.
Yeah. So we have, as a committee, and I'm really not a we part of it, I was just attended. But the committee decided, the Santuit Preservation Management Team decided that Tracy would be the point person, and as he walked the preserve and sees anything, his first mode of attack would be to advise Joe Marshall, who's the Structures and Grounds head, and then with a CC to all the other committee members. And I've asked Grace to supply me with a list of those contacts. And so we'll all be aware when there's been a request.
Yep.
And we can sort of follow progress that way.
Okay.
And I think they plan to meet more frequently, especially at first. I mean, it was originally just required that we meet once a year, but I think they're going to up that to get going, and then maybe fall back to the once a year once it gets more established. And Lev, you know, that goes for Doug or Lev or anybody that's out there on the preserve and sees something. They should contact Tracy and let Tracy start the process. So, yes, ma'am.
If I may, we are very fortunate to have Tracy. He is very knowledgeable about that piece of property, knows the history of it, knows his bearings around it. So we are lucky, and thank
Yep.
you for your service. I know.
Yep, and that's why you've been picked. Or that's why you've been drafted into this position.
It's just grand.
Yeah, in your spare time.
You get a
call
little
us.
extra in your paycheck for that. But I should also say that while we were going along the paths, David Anthony had a notebook, and he was writing up what he called his punch list and taking note of this needs to be addressed or this could be addressed.
Okay.
Signage that was covered with foliage, that's something simple, but
Easy
it's
enough
all-
to tackle.
it's
too.
all wetlands.
He's going to submit a summary to everybody, too.
Good. Okay, because that was one of the things that came out of the initial meeting, was that it was some kind of baseline was needed, some kind of this is the current conditions, what do we need to do going forward? So, I mean, we didn't really have that. I think we had that years ago, but we haven't had a recent one. Since Chris left, there's been really little done out there, so, anyway.
I think it probably took a while for Chris to transition and then for the DPW to
Yep.
transition into finding that spot. And I know that they are shorthanded, so, but Tyler seemed to be,
They don't have any people, no.
yeah. Tyler seemed to be, he's the new Chris Ganella. He's got that
Yeah,
position,
yeah.
so he seems willing and able to respond to concerns out
Yeah,
there.
so that's what we hope to encourage by having the group all be aware of what's being requested. So, Doug, do you have anything to add?
I'd like to add that it appeared to me that there were serious water management issues with a number of the sluiceways with rotting boards and the potential for flooding down into Lovell's Pond of that highly contaminated water in Santuit Pond. And even at this time of year when it's cooler, the amount of algae that's present in the water column is staggering. And it really it's essentially a cranberry reservoir. It's an artificial body of water. It appeared to me that it should be dredged because
Didn't
it
you
is.
tell me that was controversial?
I believe it is controversial, but it's artificial. It's not. It's
Are you talking about the bog itself?
no the pond.
Yeah.
The pond that it's eutrophying because it's an artificial body of water. It's not a natural kettle hole.
Is there a water source into the pond, a spring?
No, that's spring, it's spring-fed.
It
the
is
pond,
spring,
But it,
okay.
in order to, you would, rather than dredging it, I think you would have to drain it.
The what?
First,
You would drain the pond, and then you would
Oh.
excavate out to get all the goodies out, and then you'd fill it up again, and then
That would be expensive, and that would be definitely a big grant.
a major project.
Yeah,
And
a
I don't
grant.
think, Dan was mentioning that the Indians are very sensitive about that body of water as well, and I think they're against it, too. I don't know.
they were for it.
Were they?
That was the sense I got, was that the problem is the amount of phosphorus that's trapped in the sediments and how that would be managed in some type of, but if, I mean, it's a severely impacted. I mean, we have a number of impacted bodies of water in this town, but that is severely impacted.
Now, you said you thought it was controversial. Why do you think it's controversial?
It's
I think it's expensive and it's time.
The expense?
yeah, and also the potential to release nitrogen and phosphorus into the river, which would flow into Shoestring Bay eventually.
That's why I think you drain it first, and then you excavate it.
So it might cause another problem farther down the river, is that what you're saying?
That's what Steve Hurley suggested.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
be the case,
I think it's more a challenge in terms of how you would manage that, but it's a significant resource because it's an anadromous fish run. You know, and the river herring are in there, and we even saw today some of the juveniles had not gone down yet because of the poor design of the fish ladder.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that it was backing up, that the water wasn't flowing, so it was pooling, and they were caught essentially in the pooling, and they couldn't go up the ladder, so it wasn't working. So,
Go down okay, but
do what?
they can go down okay, but it's more difficult getting up. I don't know who designed that. I mean, they
The
built a
state.
brand-new dam on that thing, on the whole pond.
Yeah.
Diverted the flow through cranberry ditches adjacent to it
Yeah.
for 6 months, and then the herring run,
Well,
the fish ladder doesn't work.
NCRS, right? Acknowledged that they erred
Yeah.
in the design and the building of it, so that's why they are redoing it at their expense. So, it's basically our expense, but anyway.
I
Yeah.
think another part of the, when Doug mentioned that it was controversial to deal with the sediments, that the phosphorus is already trapped within the sediments, and they don't want to resuspend the nutrients that are
Trapped.
trapped or
Yeah,
secured.
let them go down the river and
Right,
into another
and
body.
then resuspend it and cause more problems with algae blooms.
Yeah, yeah, well, sounds like an expensive project because you'd have to have a study before you did the actual project design because you'd have to study the effects
Mashpee's done a lot of that already.
already.
Can you get equipment in there to do that kind of work?
Well, they did. I mean, when they built the dam, Lynch came in with, they kind of improved a road in there from that subdivision off of 130, the name of which escapes me, but they trucking in stone and gravel and big stones. Concrete trucks are going in to pour the fish ladder in. You can get in there and do that. But it would be a lot of material coming out if they,
Doug, you have anything else to add?
No, other than that, I felt that there was a real emphasis on the potential for the failure of a number of the small dams that.
they're the two sluiceways.
Yeah.
From the pond to the big bog, and from that big bog down the hill to Lovell's Pond are both at risk in a way.
You're saying that they pointed that out or
Yes.
recognized that was an issue?
That,
More immediate issue?
Steve Hurley from Mass Fish and Wildlife was particularly concerned about those two sluiceways.
And they've been that way for 15 years. I mean, it's unchanged since they were last farmed, basically. And
So we're hoping that this group changes things. So Lev, you were there. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I guess looking at the trail network, that was really interesting
To the microphone, yeah.
Sorry about that.
It doesn't make it
Looking at the trail
louder, it
network,
just-
looks like a really nice place to experience. The views were pretty incredible. I guess I had a question about management. If there's an issue in one town or the other, would you still use this reporting system through Tracy? Or-
Well, I don't know whether that's the case for their side. It's really, Tracy is the town of Barnstable's point person. So that's why that's his reporting chain. And at the time, the citizen representative from Mashpee had not been appointed at the last meeting. So we'll see if they have a similar system over there.
Okay.
But of
So
course, if
you just have
Tracy's-
to know which town you're in when you're
Yeah.
walking there. Because
Yeah.
there's no obvious indicator that we've
Yeah,
changed
but it should
towns.
be noted that this preserve is managed by all three entities. There's town lines, but there's not, if you know what I mean? Because the management responsibility is three entities, the state, Mashpee, and Barnstable.
Yep.
And so what happens when there is an issue that usually in the past, the town of Barnstable and Mashpee have gotten together and saying, all right, who's going to do this? And that's broken down in recent years, and Mashpee's sort of done it. So hopefully this will re-energize the cooperative interaction between the two towns.
Okay, well, just looking at where we walked today, It seemed like many of our other conservation areas, the trails are there. They've probably been there a long time. They probably weren't designed. They were just people walking, and then regardless of the slope, and then eventually motorcycles showed up and made their own thing. I'd like to go back out there once the leaves are down and look at the land and see, are there some ways some of these really steep sections could either be closed and rerouted, or maybe you'd have an equivocated stairway this way, trail that way.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to climb stairs, you could have a more gradual, that wouldn't have a slope that erodes and have water washing down it. And
Well, if you did something like that, I would suggest that you submit it to the committee, and then,
Committee.
yeah, well, thank you, to the Santuit Management.
All the committees.
Santuit Preserve Management Committee, which I'll get you those people. And maybe you should go through Tracy, and then the next time they meet, or before, I don't know, but if you have a proposal, it certainly should be digested and discussed amongst all three entities. And this might be a good way to do it.
Great.
So I don't know if that helps you, but
yeah, we'll see what
we'll
there
see
is,
if
yeah.
it works,
Yeah.
right?
And
Yes.
just one thing, I'd like to add that the one area that was eroded was so seriously eroded that no pedestrian or bicycle could pass. It was like a gully, maybe 4 or 5 feet deep.
And it had never happened in 15 years until this summer.
We're getting those torrential rains.
And, I mean, unfortunately, it's not the easiest place to get at either. It would be difficult to repair that, to get equipment in there and get the wherewithal. I don't know whether conservation would be involved in.
Okay.
That was
so-
in Mashpee. I think the one you're talking about was in Mashpee.
Yeah, everything, with the exception of that little, when we were over the bridge, walked over to that little bridge, we were in Mashpee the whole time, basically. We just touched in Barnstable.
That's why we're concerned about the entire parcel.
Yeah.
We share it. So, was the Cape Cod Golf Course. That was the original, golf club, yep. That was the original. So,
It was proposed, there was a proposed Cape Club Golf Course.
yes,
That's
when
what the-
Henri Rauschenbach was the senator way back then.
Out of the ground.
So, do you want to say anything, Miss Chris?
A good visit, the weather couldn't have been perfect, more perfect. We did see a painted turtle. I think you guys missed it. I was walking with David Anthony at the time. We saw a snapping turtle. Good mushroom year. There's a lot of mushrooms out there. So,
Well, okay, good.
and evidence of otter trails.
What?
Otters.
Otter, O-T-T-E-R, otter. It's a swimming mammal that.
Oh, those. Otters.
Otter.
Otters.
Oh,
Oh,
what did I say?
I thought you said.
O-T-T.
Whatever. Okay. All right, so we're ready to move on?
Yes.
Because now it's the Farley Show.
Yeah, it's all about
Update on the walking weekend.
lovely brochures.
Yes, thank you
Jim, this is stunning.
very much.
This is
So why
beautiful.
don't you use Kate's,
Oh, okay.
both of them? No, both of them, so that you have. Yeah, stereo, because we want to make sure we hear this.
All right. Well, many thanks to everyone who volunteered to lead a walk for the fall walking weekend. And I'm sorry, unfortunately, the schedule is not available online just yet, but hopefully soon, as I share your angst. So anyway.
Loud and clear, the people in charge are listening.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that we can still catch up with everybody. We've got brochures here, we've got some posters, and this it's also coinciding with BLT's Thoreau's Readathon walking tours that they're going to do.
And
So
Farley's going to be a reader.
I'm going to be a reader. Thank God they didn't ask me to sing. So anyway,
Could be worse, yeah.
could be worse.
And that's it.
So anyway, I'm very pleased that we've got a lot of really nice walks, and so all we need is some nice weather and
Yep.
many people.
So give us some dates and give us a little taste of what's
Okay,
in there.
Kicking off on Friday, October 6th, Doug is going to do the new boardwalk in Barnstable Village. And then Saturday, 10 o'clock, is at Meeting House Farm. It's going to be a nice tour there. Then following that at 11 and 1 are the Readathon walking tours. And then I'm going to lead a walk at 3 o'clock on Saturday through Bridge Creek. And then Sunday, Lev is going to do the Cape Cod Community College Forest Loop, which is a new dedicated trail, right? Yep, that you guys worked on. And then more reading walking tours from BLT at 11 and 1. And then Doug is going to be on at 3 o'clock talking about invasive plants at the Tracer Trailhead. And finally, on Monday, did I forget?
Yeah, I think you got,
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday begins at
Okay,
8 a.m.
all right,
with
I got-
Tracy.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
know,
sorry.
that's-
All right,
Yeah.
we can, let's go back to Friday. Beginning time at 8 o'clock is Santuit Preserve Bog Walk.
Tracy.
10 o'clock is the Sandy Neck Fall Dune hike. And then at 1:30, Kate's doing the Hathaway's Pond. And, okay, so then we get to Doug's Walk, new boardwalk for,
Is that hard to read?
well, it's just, it jumps,
Yeah,
so,
you,
yeah. So, yeah,
right, you open up
Bang,
to the three.
right.
That's
There
the
were
only-
more walks than we had space for, so
Yeah,
the
very
layout is a little
challenging.
funny, but
yeah, so,
Is it clear, though, when you look at it, what dates or what?
Yeah, if you look at it this way, it's perfect.
Get to it, yeah.
yeah, this way is right, but,
Yeah. Thank you.
and finally, on Monday, October 9th, the Barnstable Clean Water Coalition's doing a walk.
Oh, I see.
Up
Okay.
at the Marston's Mills River headwaters. So you get to
Figure it out, yeah.
learn about the restoration work that they're doing up there. It's an excellent presentation that I went to last
It's a
year.
really neat place.
Yeah, nice place. So there you have it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this is our most robust offering of walks ever.
Yeah, no,
It's very good. Thank you very much. And it's a lovely brochure
It is.
created by Miss Jenna.
Yep. Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo.
And I like the information in the back about partnerships and the mission. It's a good touch. Thank you very much. So good luck, Farley.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
yeah,
there's
so
a chance of rain, but
If you have a newsletter, I hope you use it to publish this.
So can you please, and perhaps you should have already, send the brochure to at least the committee members electronically? Because I don't have it.
didn't you, you sent.
Yeah, Doug needs one, I know, because you said you
You know
were,
what?
Just
I got
this.
the flyer, yeah.
I got this.
yeah, right,
I got
right.
this, but then when you go to the
Right.
website, it's not there.
Well, not yet, right? So,
Not yet.
so you need the brochure. You need the brochure. Thank you.
The brochure,
I got this only.
I sent it to you today.
Oh, today?
Yes, today.
Thank
Can I
you.
get a copy too? On email?
Send you one, yep, sure, yep, absolutely.
to the whole committee, so that we all.
Okay, yep, I will do that.
And I should say, I thank Gemma for sending this to web request. She explained that she sent it, but it stuck.
Yeah,
So that you know, I contacted the town
Yep.
manager and said, please unstuck it.
so, yeah, so we might need you to unstick it.
It will be done, I'm confident of that. But since it's only, as Doug said, 4 days away, are there any other electronic news outlets that we can send it to? I mean, unless there's
No,
online versions with Cape Cod Online?
Yeah.
I think it was in the Barnstable newsletter on Friday. wasn't it?
No, just the flyer was.
Flyer,
Flyer.
yeah. And
getting
I
the
tried
Barnstable
reaching, has anybody ever had any contact with Eric Williams at the Cape Cod
I
Times?
just talked to him today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Does he ever read his email?
Call him and say, read your email. Actually, he kind of reads his email, because I sent him an email, I read half of it, and said, but your answer's if you read the rest of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lev, can you use whatever influence you have to spread the word?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you send me,
I've written him a couple
if you
times
send me
and
the
never heard
PDF for
anything.
this, then I will get
Front of
to
him.
him, and we'll check in tomorrow.
All right, great.
We've got some influence, thank you very much.
That's good. Thank you, thank you.
Now, I know Chris has, Gordon will probably put something out if we ask him.
But that means I have to do it today or tomorrow, I'm just saying it's.
Yes,
And
should
I
you?
don't have, and I don't have,
You can do it Monday, can't you?
Monday's too late, it's over.
I mean, not, oh, yeah,
Today's
today's
Monday.
Monday. So we have the rest of the week,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I'm just saying if you want to give people information so that they can actually make a plan to
Have
go
the flyers been
at 8
posted
a.m. on
anywhere?
Friday.
I can't believe it's not been out yet.
Check it down.
All right, well, we'll do the best we
Can
can.
I make a request for next time? Is to maybe have it 2 weeks ahead, so that
Yep.
local papers, because
Yeah.
some people go for walks, still read newspapers, I know some
Right.
of them.
Well, like best bets.
So if it
and
get into
stuff.
the paper, they have deadlines and their
Yeah.
weeklies.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's too late
Well,
for that.
Find out.
it's,
No, you're absolutely right.
Farley starts early, and she doesn't get always response right away, so she has to keep going out and asking, right?
Urged.
Well, it wouldn't have to be complete 2 weeks ahead, but it would have to be set up so that when the announcement goes in the papers, maybe it doesn't list all the walks. It lists
just
what
says-
you have.
yeah, save the
And then there's
dates.
a link in the paper that people can go then and get the latest, because there might be a walk that just gets added, it's a great walk.
Yeah,
So you still want to have it.
Yeah.
But you didn't have time to get it into the print
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
But at least everyone knows it's walking weekend. I can't go away this weekend. I have to be here because it's going
Yeah.
to be great.
yeah, okay.
Farley.
In your
Gemma, I
in
don't
your
know if this
brain,
would be,
yeah.
Gemma and Farley, I don't know if this would be helpful, but as you build your list, and I know people send in their, the description close to the deadline, I'm wondering if it would be reasonable to just build a list on a link to the, what will eventually be the Open Space Committee's webpage, and build it so that you can add to it, like when the first two or
Yeah.
three come in,
Need like a spreadsheet or something.
2 or 3 come in, make a link to those two,
Yep.
to those 3, and more come in, just develop that page.
Well, that means IT has to keep adding, and,
If we start earlier, and at least worst case scenario, there would still be some walks on the website, maybe not all of them, or maybe not in a pretty format.
Yeah.
But we can
you
definitely put it
have
in a PDF next year,
Okay.
so that we can have the
Okay.
up a little faster.
yeah. But we wouldn't be able to update it any faster than we have been able to do it this year.
Yeah, but if we give more lead time, so that if
Some
we-
things would
yeah,
get up there
exactly.
anyway.
If we give a week instead.
Okay.
Farley,
Yep.
if you could send the PDF of this.
Yep.
Brochure to like Mark Robinson and have him send it out to all the land trusts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
and the
that's
other
good.
person would be Ian Ives.
Yep.
I mean, I
Do you have
if
his,
you want to send it, I don't see that you sent it to me, you sent it to Doug.
And
Barnstable Land
Janet
Trust.
Milkman.
I'll send it.
I'm going to go over to BLT tomorrow.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a bunch over there and drop them off.
I have Ian's email if you don't.
He's on my list, definitely.
If you want, I'll send it to Mark if you send it to me.
Okay, yep. Let me
Because
just-
they have a big, long list of people that they could, if he was kind, he would get it out for you.
Oh, Ian?
Ian, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But again, you know, you only have a few more days, so we got to do it quickly.
Mark's really good at that.
It just occurred to me that I think some of this kind of got bunched up because we did not have an August meeting. So by not having an August meeting, by the time we get to September, we only have one meeting to.
Yep. Unfortunately, we would have had a quorum issue in August.
I'm just looking back at how did it get in this bind
Yeah.
where we haven't been before.
So part of that's my fault, but we would have had, Farley would have run that meeting. And I wouldn't have been here, and I think half the other, I don't know how many other people weren't going to be here, but
All right, so okay, everybody at this table needs a brochure, is that correct?
I got one, thank you.
I just
Oh,
emailed
yeah,
it.
sent, yeah.
Okay.
I did email it to everyone except Lev. I don't have your email address
Oh,
yet.
all right, you've already.
But if you can forward it, or if you give me your email address.
Sure, I'll write it down for you.
Okay.
All right, so.
Actually, it's in the brochure.
Your email address?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's your contact. Oh, that's right.
It's right there, Lev Malikoff, with my email.
Ah,
How
Right
convenient.
now.
All right, so everybody's getting a brochure by way of Jenna.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, good job. Okay, so anything else, anybody else wants to say about the walking weekend?
Yeah, I do. Maybe on your
Yes.
list of groups to send it to, Barnstable Clean Water, everyone who's a speaker
Yeah,
or a walk leader
yes,
should get, how do I want to say, share that with their group, with their email address book.
a very good plan.
I'll take care of Barnstable Clean Water and Mark Robinson.
Oh, okay.
And Meeting House Farm.
No, I mean, I'm gonna just do the.
You can do the Thursday.
That, she would have her.
I can do Meeting House Farm.
the email so
You're
they
going to do Meeting House?
blast it to their people.
Oh, all right, so is everybody organized now for,
I know, we've got to hit the streets and get going here.
No,
Why are we sitting here?
all right, Chris, it's your turn. Now is our, any conversation from our fearless town councilor?
No update on any open space.
No. So I was saying earlier that Lev would be voted hopefully in on Thursday as second reading. Do you anticipate a swell of controversy?
No, I don't. And then this committee will be fully appointed.
Yep, that'll be good.
Thank you.
All right.
For applying.
So, I have nothing to say about CRs, nothing new. Any other business? How about Farley? Do you have anything from the CPC?
From CPC, I was just going to dig in here. Our last meeting was September 18th. And, let's see. Okay. There's nothing really of great significance. Project updates, the Mills property, Mashpee, the CR is to be granted to the Mass Division of Fish and Wildlife will be forwarded to Town Council for final review and approval.
Okay, so that was something that we've already reviewed.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And, let's see. Wheeler Road grant application results.
Which one?
Wheeler grant.
Oh, yes, we've already talked about that, too. So we've approved both of those.
To the town council agenda in November. And
I think I've already written a letter saying that we recommend approval for Wheeler, but I'm not sure because I knew that the town council was not going to see it for a while. Have you gotten a letter in your packet from us?
But if that's not going to be heard until November,
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't done it already. I might have done it right after our meeting, so I'll check into that. Could you check into that for me?
we may have a
Thank you.
new town council by then. We are likely to have a new town council by then.
Yeah, that's true.
is there early voting this year for the,
No,
no
I think there's voting by mail, but just,
voting by mail?
yes,
Yeah,
you can
okay.
request a mail-in ballot.
Okay, good.
God, are you kidding me? All right,
Also do that online.
I feel very strongly about that. But anyway,
Thank you.
so any other things to discuss? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Guys, well, you won't see me in November, but you'll see Farley in November.
Phyllis used to make the motion to adjourn.
No.
No, we miss Phyllis.
Yeah, she could.
Thank you very much, people, for coming.
Jenna?
How's she doing?
Yes, thank you very much.